Hello, Four Star Nation, and welcome to a special Thursday evening interview with the one, the only University of Memphis head football coach, Ryan Silverfield. Coach Silverfield, thank you very much for joining the Four Star Sports Show.
Man, it's an honor to join you guys. I appreciate y'all having me on this evening.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Coach, my first question for you, I know we're anticipating spring football coming up. When is the start date on that, and what are we looking like? How many practices are we going to have, everything like that?
Yeah, it starts March 14th. So coming up here about just over 10 days and ready to get rolling. And we're going to have all 15 practices. As you guys well know, we didn't have a single spring practice last year, which we're so excited to get out there. We had 9 newcomers that have already joined us since January. A lot of those guys that graduated high school early and a few transfers. So we're excited to get out there, roll. We got a lot of competition and all 15 practices, and then expect to see as many fans as we can have in the Liberty Bowl for our Friday night Stripes game.
That was my second question. How many fans do you think we might be able to fit into the Liberty Bowl? I know with COVID it's getting tough. The Shelby County Health Department's kind of loosening the reins a little bit, but we need to keep it as safe as we can for the student athletes, for the coaching staff, for our fans as well. How many people do you think that we'll have out there?
Well, I'm hoping for 59,432 people. But look, if we just got to get our fans out there. This past year, Shelby County allowed just over 10,000, and if we can get 10,000 people come out and support our Tigers for our spring game, I think that's a good showing. And I do think they'll have an open door policy and let us roll. Tickets are free. And we excited. Anybody that can come out there and support us, we'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well, I know fans are dying and hungry to see you guys, because the last time we could normally see you guys was the Cotton Bowl. And Memphis showed up for that game. We traveled down there, and I know my friends and family are just dying to get into the Liberty Bowl and itching to be able to go see this team run out on the field, run out of the South Tunnel, and put on a show for the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and the feeling's mutual, right? You think about our guys, especially our veterans that have been around here for a while. They're ready to get back at it. We know we got some of the best fan support in the country. We love our home field advantage at the Liberty Bowl. We love the support. Certainly missed many of our fans this year, but if everybody feels safe and well, look, there's no reason why we can't have a full stadium, especially for our great home slate. You think about this. In our first 4 games, 3 of them are at home, and then same, right? 3 or 4 of our last games of the season are at home. So we got a great slate to get out there and get some tickets. I'm not sitting here pushing season tickets, but if there's no reason why that you guys shouldn't be there, the fans shouldn't be out there in this stadium, and hopefully tailgating and doing all the things that make college football so fun.
Coach, speaking of fans, just to give you a little background on myself, I'm a diehard Memphis Tiger fan. I was born to be a Tiger fan. My stepdad, up until this season with COVID, had not missed a home football game since 1985.
Wow.
So that just gives you a little background into how deep and how long I've been doing this. Speaking of the fans, Coach, let me ask a question for the fans. What does it feel like to have the city of Memphis have your back and know that you are the leader of their football team?
Anybody knows me knows that I actually get goosebumps hearing that, because I have so much pride in this city. I love this city. I love this community. One of the reasons why it was so exciting for me to get this head coaching job. There have been opportunities throughout my time here as an assistant coach to leave, and this place is special. And I always say, you talked about the fans. What makes a place special, it's not necessarily the city itself. It's not necessarily the facilities, the university, all those things which here are top-notch and great. It's the people and the relationships. And when you get to see those fans, I think that's incredible. People always ask me what's been my greatest moment since I've been a coach here. Look, I always remember the day I got hired. I'll remember the Cotton Bowl. I think winning the bowl game this past year, the UCF game was great. Winning a championship. All those things were wonderful, but I think the moment, to me, it goes back to when we had college game day and the city was on display, and then you got to see our fans truly come out and see almost 60,000 people in the Liberty Bowl. And that you say, man, this is what we're capable of, and that's what we're going to push for. Obviously, it was a unique circumstance, but to understand that, look, I've got this city's back. I truly am one of those that I've got a chip on my shoulder. I protect Memphis through and through, and I bleed blue. And, we talk about Memphis first, everybody, and I believe that. And so I'm glad this city has my back. As long as I win games, I'm sure they will. And hopefully that's the plan moving forward. And I'll continue to do everything I can to make this university, our program, and this city continue to stay on the map.
Coach, let's talk a little spring football. When you look at the team that, based on the season we had last year, moving forward into this year, obviously the hype is real. Give us a little bit of information on how the spring ball is going to end up going this year.
Yeah, let me start on the defensive side. I would say this: in my 6 years here at Memphis, I think this is the most depth we've had on the defensive side. I really like it. Part of it is having some of those, senior guys that were able to come back for an extra year. Really everywhere, right? That D line, linebacker, especially, and then in the secondary, and we got some young talent. So a lot of good competition, a lot of good players that we can feel like we can rotate and have good depth on defense. Fired up about our defensive staff. In the direction they're heading, especially, year 2 of implementing a scheme, being able to have spring football for that. I think that's so instrumental in the growth of a unit. Offensively, let's not hide from the elephant in the room. Who's our quarterback? Yeah. And we've had 8 years of good quarterback play, and from Paxton to Riley to Brady. And we got to continue that trend in order for us to have success. It's an open competition. Look, it may be one of those things that goes all the way up till the end of August, and that's okay too. I just hope we have good players that we can sit there and say, we got our guy, or we got a couple guys that we feel comfortable with. We had a lot of running backs on the roster, as you guys know, versus Navy. We started a walk-on at running back. We got a lot of depth there. We have to find our bell cow, or a couple guys that we can really hang our hat on. I don't want to go and have this conversation next year, like, hey, why'd you play 8 running backs, and every game? Well, it's usually because you couldn't find the one you wanted. So hopefully we have that guy. And that's something we've been so fortunate to have, is elite running backs here. And, it starts with the offensive line playing a little bit better. And we know what everybody else is capable of, like our receiver core and tight end group. And so, look, we'll go get it. And then can't forget the specialist. Excited about them, bringing in a freshman kicker. We hope he can follow that long lineage of kickers and move forward. But look, the biggest thing going into the spring is we have 103 guys on our roster right now going into spring football. It's the most in the history of the program. So, I always get asked, man, aren't you worried about players transferring, players leaving, doing this? Part of these things are things that have to naturally occur, right? And I was part of recruiting a lot of these players that are no longer here. But reality, where do we have room on our roster? I've got more guys coming. If I've got 14 more guys signed up to come here, in June, well, where the heck am I going to fit everybody? I can't go make cuts. It's not the NFL, and I can't trade players. So our roster is very full. So we have to be selective of who we are. But look, a lot of exciting things happen, this spring, and looking forward to really getting out there and watching those guys go compete day in and day out.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a good problem to have, wouldn't you say, Coach?
It's a great problem. Yeah, I don't want to sit there and say, man, we got 50 guys and no play a lick and blame the recruiting. No, look, I'm excited. I think we got some talent. Is this the most talented Memphis team that we've had here? I wouldn't sit there and say it is, but I think this team's a bunch of fighters. I use the term grit regarding this group. Those that stuck around last year, a lot of them are back, and talk about perseverance and the heart and the mindset, and that's really what you want, because those kids that stuck around are back, and they won the first bowl game. Any of them had won, and I think there's a lot of momentum just in the way we got to do things, the culture we're building here.
Coach, you kind of addressed what I was going to talk about next, was the quarterback battle, and then kicker. You're losing a Senior Bowl selected Riley Patterson, who is absolutely going to be drafted next month, and probably he's top 3 kicker in program history besides Gostowski and Jake Elliott. What's going to go into replacing him? I know we got a 5-star freshman kicker coming in, and there's going to be a competition at that spot, I believe, as well. Do you have full faith in the guys that are – and I know you do because you've recruited them, but do you think that these guys are going to be able to come in and be as successful as a Riley or a Jake Elliott?
Look, I'll let you know after that first game-winning kick, right? If I've got full confidence, right? No, look, I do like the way we recruited. There's going to be competition at every position, especially there. Are you relying on a freshman? Possibly. You never say, hey, this is who we want. I mean, it is an open competition, and may the best man win. But look, you talk about the lineage of kickers. We talked about the great running backs, right, that have come through here. But now you talk about the kickers. I said something, the other day is you don't want to be known as Kicker University until your guy starts missing. So we've come full circle and really happy with, obviously, you talked about Riley. What a fantastic career he's had here, right? I was here at the end of Jake Elliott's career, a young man that's still involved and gives back to our program. And then Guskowski and I have developed a relationship over my years here. And, he's doing big things over in Central Tennessee. So excited about the direction. And you put those three names we just mentioned on that list, and you say, wow, we've had some great kickers in recent years, especially. So you just hope whoever can come in. You don't want to put the pressure on them, but, that's a position that should apply its own pressure in game situations. So we're going to have high expectations, and if they fall anywhere in that line of that percentage, I think we'll be just fine.
I've dubbed us special teams U, not just kicker U. I think the special teams all around has been impressive, all the way from long snapper to holder to punter to kicker. And, I mean, look at what Tony Pollard did in his career here with all the kickoff return touchdowns. Darrell Henderson also had one, and so did Chris Claybrooks in the 2019 season. It's very interesting because you don't see a lot of teams. It reminds me of old Virginia Tech. They used to score a lot of points on special teams. I think we've put a huge landmark on our special teams because that's won us a lot of football games, if we're being honest, and it's kept us in a lot of football games as well. And I know you take pride in that as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Brent. I think, coaches get labeled, right? He's an offensive guru, a defensive genius, puts his emphasis. To me, I want to be as well-rounded of a team as we can be because as you guys saw this past year, the Navy game, I knew it wasn't going to be a shootout. I was like, hey, we're going to go and make it a slugfest and find a way to win this game. And it was ugly, but it's a 10-7 ugly win. I'll take that in Annapolis, right? Yeah. Then you go to UCF and it's a shootout. And I knew we were going to have to score a lot of points in order to beat UCF. So that's why I put such an emphasis on special teams, and we have here. It's important to us and what we want to get done because that's a third phase of the game. And it's just as important to me that we put that emphasis. And it's been a focus for how we want to do things. And it always will be because I think it can change the game just like that. And especially when games are close, you never know. And we've been so fortunate, right? You named some great names in our return game as well. And not only, like you just said, Preston Brady one time was holder of the year. He's a great long snapper. We got a bunch of guys that we're excited about. One of the things that's different is we'll play some of our best players on special teams. I think that's quite unique and gets those guys, to continue to play at a high level.
Coach, speaking of players, this is a two-part question. First part is, how important is it for you to keep, I know we did the Tiger Walk where all the legends will come back, all the former players come back and walk the field. How important is it for you to keep the former Tiger players involved in the program today? And then second part of that question is, who are some players on today's roster that we need to look out for this upcoming season?
Yeah, great questions. I think that's so important, the history of our program, right? There's some good years and some bad years, but regardless, those players that came before us, they're the ones that laid the foundation, right? Set in stone everything that we're so fortunate to have. And I even give credit to the coaches that came ahead of me. I don't sit there and try to say, well, there's a lot of people that put in a lot of work, a lot of staff members to get us here. So, you think about those former players, it's so important because of their legacy. I mean, I've tried to keep a relationship not only with the guys like D'Angelo Williams, who, even if it's just a few text messages a couple times a month, and I get to see him here and there at some games, but guys that that had the opportunity, right? Whether it's an Anthony Miller, Antonio Gibson, just checking on each other, and I think those relationships are genuine because they were here when I was here, so that helps. But then a guy like Gaskowski, who I've never met, but him and I will text and he'll congratulate me and I'll do the same and wish each other luck. Guys from like Bogdan McCain, who's still in the league, who was here before my time. So I think that stuff's so important. And then you obviously have so many legends that are not involved in football at all, right? That are doing great things in the city of Memphis. And we try to invite those players back, obviously, in a non-COVID year. We plan on having these guys come back and watching spring practice, talking to the team. It may be a CEO of a company that may have been a below-average football player here at Memphis, but he bleeds blue and he understands the importance of what it means to be a Tiger football player. And those relationships that he may create with our student athletes may change their lives. And so I think that stuff's important. And then looking ahead, I'm intrigued by our running back room, like I told you, some of the names. I think Brandon Thomas is a young man that we signed last year out of Little Rock, Arkansas. I think he's going to give himself a fair shot in the running back battle, which is going to be great. But you never know. And then look, we're signing a bunch of guys, as you guys saw. I mean, Andrew Jones is one of those linebackers. Jared and Ed, they're both here right now.
Oh, wow.
Both of the young offensive tackles we signed, I think they're going to be cornerstones of our offensive line. Maybe not this year, but for a long time coming up with Pounders and Royce White. Royce is already here. And he was 242 pounds as a junior. Now he's up to about 290. So, look, I think the future is very bright in our quarterback room. Whoever steps up is going to be a new face to the city of Memphis, right? And I know we kind of hit on that briefly, but I'm intrigued. And as you guys know, I think and I don't like to sit there and talk about stars and recruiting and all that stuff, but it is important to say, hey, we had the best rated and the highest rated class in the history of the program. Why? Because that means people are believing in what we're doing and the product we're able to sell and the culture we've been able to set. And so that's going to be our goal year in and year out, is to bring in the best type of young men that fit us and what we want to do. And whether they're highly rated or not, but what we want to get done in this program.
Coach, I'm going to ask one more question. Wes will ask one more question, then we're going to let you go. My last question for you, it's a hard hitter. Are we going to get Tennessee back on the football schedule?
Yeah, look.
We're wanting them. All the fans want them.
Yeah, look, we'll play. We've made a lot. Let's just say this: we've made a lot of calls to a lot of people to try to play us, and we've made calls to all over the state of Tennessee. If you can catch my drift, to play us, and most of them just say it doesn't work in their schedule. It's amazing, People say, "Well, how far out?" And this leads to an open-ended question: is I helped with our athletic director kind of say, hey, this Boise State thing makes sense, even though it's 2030 and 2031. But those are contracts that have to be signed. I think there's going to be an announcement. I don't know if it's going to be in the next month or next 3 months, but it's going to be exciting to a lot of Tiger fans about a future game on our schedule as well. So okay. You guys will be the first to hear it. There you go.
There you go. All right. A little bit of teaser. I like it, Coach. Coach, speaking of the schedule. I'm currently living in Crossett, Arkansas. My wife is a Arkansas alum, and lo and behold, we got Arkansas on the schedule coming up. What does it mean for you to be able to go back and revisit those older Memphis rivals like Arkansas, Louisville, Southern Miss, for example, UAB? Is that something that you take a lot of pride in? Is kind of rekindling those old matchups?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that stuff's important. Right. One, you want to play teams in your regional footprint. That's one of the things why people say, why would you play Boise? Well, I think the program that they bit themselves into is why that made sense. But I don't think it makes sense other than for vacation to schedule a home and home with Hawaii, right? Other than so Tiger fans are Oregon State, right? But I do, right? You got so many great teams within our region, from the UABs to the Southern Miss. But, I think it's been great that we've been able to get Arkansas State going. Right. And they're a great team with a great setup and everything they're doing. But, I'm excited to get Arkansas back on the docket. Look, an SEC team, a team that's nationally known. I think those things are great. So I'm all for that. Like I said, we won't back down from playing anybody. And we're excited about that game, when it comes time. Obviously, I think it's a 3-game series that we've signed off on. Look, when that time comes, it'll be great. And we're always going to look to play quality opponents that makes sense for what we want to do. And like I said, there'll be some announcements coming out here before too long. And and even every month I'm sitting down looking at our schedule. Hey, the 2026 year, hey, we need an away game. Where should we go? Or we need a home game. And then you look, and sometimes the bucket's full, and other times you make some calls and see what you can make work.
Well, Coach, thank you very much again for being on the show. Just to give a little bit of a rehash, spring football will begin on March 14th, which is coming up just next week. And then Friday Night Lights will take place April 16th at the Liberty Bowl. Do we have a start time for that yet, Coach, or not yet?
Yep, 7 p.m. And it'll be free and open to the public. Like I said, right now I don't see any restrictions. Let's get 15,000 fans there and tell them, okay, let's stop that, and we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But, Coach, thank you very much for being on again with us today on the 4-Star Sports Show, and we would love to have you back on during the season if you have time.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the support, and to all of our fans out there. Stay safe, stay well, and go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Brandon, when you look at this Memphis program, based on what we did last year, I'll be honest with you, man. Coach has got me pretty fired up to get into next football season. That guy's a motivator, man.
First things first. Not to toot our own horn, but that's the best interview we've ever had on this show, hands down.
Yes.
That was incredible. He gave us an in-depth look in the future of the program, not just this season, down the road, including scheduling, everything like that. Ryan Silverfield was the perfect hire for this Memphis football job. He represents the city so well. Mm-hmm. He carries himself in a very, very, very well manner. And that was just exciting. I'm stunned. That was just a great interview. But yeah, that man could walk in the room, say 2 words, and I would run through a brick wall. He's just a motivator, man. He got me fired up sitting here, and it's March. We're September. September is I think it's literally
6 months away.
Yeah, it's a little bit away, but like you're close.
Yeah. Thank you for everybody out there watching. We've got some likes, we've got some loves, we've got some folks watching on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook right now, all at the same time. Thank you to everybody who has commented. Mike Donald said this is the best sports show going right now. Great to see our coach being interviewed. My stepdad was also watching. Steve Jerpy said awesome. Bill Allen just commented and said great interview. The people that doubt Coach Silverfield just don't know what they're talking about. Bill, you are 100% correct. Also, Aaron Smith, one of our members on the show, said this is awesome. What a great interview. And it was. Once again, for everybody watching, thank you for watching. Thank you to Ryan Silverfield for being on the show with us tonight. Man, it's just a great interview. And Brandon, like you said, he gave us insight into not only this year's team, but the future. And that's really what excites me about this program is just the rocket ship. I mean, we've got a rocket ship strapped to our back as a football program right now.
Absolutely.
And it's so much fun, man. I mean, I can remember being there at an East Carolina game on homecoming. It was raining its butt off, and there may have been 500 people in the stadium.
I think that was Halloween night.
I believe it was. I believe you are correct. I believe it was. And then you fast forward and look at the Cotton Bowl and just what a great experience that was. Not only for the university. Yeah, exactly. Not only for the university, but for the fan base as well. But Bumgardner, man, this was great. Thank you very much for being on with us. Once again, obviously, thank you very much for Brian Silverfield again for being on. Also, guys, we're going to make sure we get this posted to our Twitter account. We'll try our best to get it posted to Instagram. Not real sure how that works. But, guys, thank you very much. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. What else do we got? iHeartRadio.
Yes.
Thank you very much for everybody. Our website, 4starsportshow.live. We are putting articles on there as much as we can. We also try to keep our fans, the 4-Star Nation, updated on everything we've got going on. But thank you for everybody for watching. Bum, thank you for being on, man. Coach Silverfield, we salute you. Have a good night, guys.